Happy New Year to all of you. Sorry for the muted mic there. We are streaming live today from our home studio in the beautiful Willamette Valley of Oregon. And we hope that wherever you call home, all is well in your life. And we say that knowing that is a pretty rare experience for any human being. But it represents the new norm for a lot of you that are watching today. So again, thank you for joining us. It's become a tradition here at Ancient Wings to start the year with Michael sharing his insights about what lies ahead. And if you've been following our work, you also know he isn't a big fan of giving predictions, simply because reality in its natural state isn't static. It's always changing, despite what you see all around you. But you don't have to be psychic to see how so many ingrained patterns of behavior, they just keep repeating themselves over and over again. So I'm sure that Michael will touch on some of that here today. But more importantly, as it relates to living a soul-filled life, I'm also certain he'll address some of the changes all of you are going through, where we are at, what to expect, and how to experience what your heart truly desires. Because if we're looking at this long term, and it's really important to keep that in perspective, right? We have allowed, with the presence of our soul, so many new opportunities in our life that honor both the human and the soul. So like all of you, I too am looking forward to what he has to share. It actually feels kind of surreal to me that here we are at the beginning of the year 2024, when it feels just like yesterday that we were celebrating moving into the next century. Which means what? Well, at least for me, it means that life on earth is moving quite a bit faster. Not just from the frantic pace of certain lifestyle choices, but thanks in part to a growing and expanding state of consciousness on this planet, which in turn has created for a lot of us an experience that feels, well, more elevated. Our senses have been enhanced with the presence of the soul. Our passion for creating has never felt so fresh, so exciting. And our newfound love for ourself as a soul being, well, allows us to truly appreciate all the new choices we are now making in service to something that is actually very sacred, very ancient. So we have the honor of serving a global group of fully awakened human beings. And from our perspective, all of you have one thing in common. You don't accept things at face value. And actually, we just love that about you. Which means it must be experienced if you're going to accept it as being real. And as that relates to the presence of your soul, a lot of people view the soul as an unknown part of life that is yet to be proven. Or they just rely on what others have told them and hope it's real. So many of you have embraced this presence not as any kind of concept or an idea. You embrace it because you have experienced it in a very personal way. And to help you feel more connected to your soul, we are encouraging each of you to spend a lot more time just being you. And now, of course, to allow that presence to also speak. So it is our passion to help all of you take ownership of your own voice, the voice of your soul, which represents something that we insist is available to anyone. It doesn't matter to your soul what group or teacher you might be following. It doesn't matter to your soul what your religion is or your background is. All that matters is your willingness from your human perspective to now allow this presence to be present. But for a lot of people, that also represents a huge obstacle, because allowing is not something your mind has mastered. And if you do allow such an experience, it's not always comfortable to feel so wide open, so vulnerable, while living alongside a very closed system of reality, which kind of makes loving thy neighbor a little challenging at times. And as all of that relates to my own relationship to a non-physical being called Michael or Michael, he's willing to share anything with me as long as I too am willing to experience it firsthand, out of respect to all of you. Because theories and concepts just don't cut it anymore, do they? None of you are willing to wait till you croak to finally experience that eternal part of you. But that also means you're willing to re-examine how your human story has or is impacting the quality of your own life. So I want to thank you, all of you that are here today, simply for sharing your presence as we continue to act as supports to each other through our radiance, our own light. Some of you are here today, well, you're just kind of curious, and that's fine. Welcome. But we encourage you, at least at some point, to go beyond your curiosity. Take that deep dive into whatever teaching or approach to all of this that speaks to your heart. There are more spiritual teachings and teachers on this planet than ever before. Let them serve your heartfelt desire to be free of what is no longer yours to carry. It meant a lot to us, and it means a lot to us that so many of you have placed your trust in our guidance. But I would not be here today doing this if not for all the support I also have received in my life. So in the spirit of acting as supports to each other, we posted a link on our About Us page to our July 2021 episode that we titled Giving Thanks, along with some book titles, to honor those that continue to inspire me to openly share my relationship with Michael in this way. Because for my human part, well, it's sometimes challenging, to say the very least, sometimes challenging. So let's begin today's episode by taking a deep breath. And we do that to help ground yourself, to your physical body. We know that can be really challenging to make a conscious choice to deepen your connection to your body and as well to this very planet. It's not easy to become more aware and to be human at the same time, but it makes it so much easier when you do ground yourself to this physical body to experience your natural state of consciousness. If you do have a passion for being human too. So now before I bring in Michael, can we also just take a moment here to truly appreciate the light you are sharing with this human family? And we're not just talking about some generic light. We're talking about your own energy that is connected to the Christ light. Because without the light of your soul, we are denying humanity the opportunity to experience what so many of you are feeling right now. It's why we spent so much time and energy encouraging all of you to embrace being sovereign, perhaps for the first time, by living what we call an unplugged life, which begins by cutting those energetic cords that have you relying on the energy from other people to support you, so as to deepen your experience with your own energy. And looking ahead, especially during this year, you're going to need to rely on that more than ever. In my own experience, I discovered that the energy of my soul is unlimited. It is boundless. And when you allow it to exist at the front of your life, its radiance attracts to you countless opportunities without any effort on your human part. But if my mind tries to move to the front of my life, or if I get pulled into, like a magnet, the presence of mass consciousness, well, worry, doubt, and concern replace whatever passion and joy I was feeling. So why do I bring this up today? Because, my friends, what we are creating is literally a new way of being human. You truly never need to ask for anything from spirit, from your soul. Whatever you think you need, it already exists as a potential. All you have to do is be willing to receive it from your soul. And I know firsthand that being in receivership is really an art form, is it not? So as we enter this new year, 2024, there are countless opportunities that are just waiting for all of you to receive them. And of course, the question always is, dear Michael, how do you do it? Well, you get your human self out of the way and let your own energy serve you. So this would be a really good time, if you haven't already, to stop making this experience, all about your human identity and its story. Because the collective consciousness of this human family seemed to be completely unconscious of the presence of consciousness. Okay, I'll stop preaching. Time for me to step aside. Not to present a channeled message. I think I've been really clear about this over all these years. You don't need to channel for any part of your soul. Own that it is you too, and then just talk. Just speak. It's really that simple. It's the mind that's trying to figure out how you're doing this. Dear mind, get in the back seat and be of service to the soul. Let it speak. So on that note, take a deep breath with me. Indeed, it is this simple. Thank you, Robert. It is I, Michael, here again with all of you, in service to a passion for living an elevated life. That's a rare thing to experience or to even witness on this planet. But it represents a new way of being human. With your doing part now in service to your being part. Attach some gender qualities to that with your male part now in service to your female part. How's humanity going to accept that? Well, initially not very well. We know that many of you have tuned in today to hear what lies ahead. And we will gladly share what we see on the horizon. But you really don't need us to tell you what life would be like on this planet right now without the light of your soul. You already got a really good taste of that reality in this, in all of your previous lifetimes. You don't need us to tell you that there exists a variety of beings both on and off of this planet, who are more than willing to take advantage of any other being who is unconscious of the impact their own inner reality is having on their life. So it's not too hard to imagine certain potentials developing if consciousness itself has been ignored for so long. All the warnings that you need to hear, all of them have been shared many times, including in relationship to this time, having been prophesied long ago, as well as so many new opportunities that are just waiting for someone to do what? Are you ready to receive them, my friends? What is new to you? So the opportunity that so many of you have embraced is truly unique. But, there's always the but. It's not without its own degree of hardship. Because it's not so easy to let go of what is known to you. And that will tell you a little bit about why it's so hard for you to receive what is yours to own, what is yours to experience. This opportunity we speak of is actually all about the light of your soul. But its impact on life here on earth was for the most part unknown. Very few beings have paid much attention to what you're now beginning to experience, simply because it hasn't been seen before like this. So over the years, we've talked a lot about the power games and some of the players in those games. But we have also shared how these same games didn't originate on this planet. And so Earth was created to hopefully experience something new, a new way of being. Instead of placing so much of your own time and energy trying to create an improved version of whatever reality you call home, over all these lifetimes, a few discovered a very ancient and sacred presence, a divine presence that had been living inside of them forever, which dramatically shifted their relationship to their current reality, big time. It was as if they had ascended into another realm. And indeed they did. One that allows any being to experience themselves now as being the original self too. So, my friends, here we are, the year 2024. And in a way, it represents yet again another new beginning, heralding a new time for this human family. An opportunity to experience a state of consciousness that for the longest time only existed in the angelic realms. Only a few have ever tasted such a presence on this planet. They've indeed inspired many of your spiritual teachings, while others have declared for all to hear that if you too would like to experience this for yourself, you would, 1, need to leave this planet, and 2, of course, you would need to sign up to whatever story they are promoting. And there's a lot of them. But we are serving something new. Are we not? We are serving those that for the most part were also here during the times of Lemuria. Most of you were also here during the rise and the fall of Atlantis. And during this, the current version of this human experience, all of you have or are experiencing the rise and fall of the human spirit rising again inside of you in a very unique way. Collectively, it has never risen as high as it is right now. And it is truly amazing to witness. Let's take a breath right there, a deep breath. Let yourself get comfortable with the energies that are only here for one reason, to be of support to you. We know that each of you have your own story, a story that included a search for a deeper understanding of the nature of your own personal reality, a search that had so many of you climbing your own mountain in order to rise above all the noise from the collective consciousness on this planet. Every single lifetime, you climbed this very mountain in search of what was missing in your life. But in this lifetime, you did something different. Instead of screaming to the heavens, "Get me out of here," you reached the top of your own mountain and shouted to the heavens for all the angels to hear, "Join us." It took many beings in the non-physical realms by surprise. "Join us," you said. But of course, you heard nothing back. No reply at all. Many of you began to think, perhaps it is true. You truly are all alone on this God-forsaken planet. But there existed a feeling deep inside of you that just wouldn't go away. A feeling that there is so much more than what you've been told. So much more than what you inherited. And so you continued to climb this mountain over and over again. Each time crying to all that could hear, "Join us." But your cry became more desperate. Now it was filled with tears, as if pleading, "Join us." And then something changed. Maybe you were just exhausted from the search itself. So you gave up trying. Some of you lost hope, complete hope. But in those quiet moments, something profound occurred. You started to hear in your dreams. You started to hear it in the song of the birds. You could hear it in the wind, as if nature was saying to you, "We hear you. We hear you." Your mind suggested that you're delusional. Some of you made the mistake of sharing this with a few close friends. They too agreed with your mind and offered to get you some help. But this feeling that you knew without knowing how you knew just wouldn't go away. It's the same feeling Robert experienced over 40 years ago, when he finally just stopped and asked, "Who is this presence I am feeling in my body?" And he heard me loud and clear inside of his head declare, "I am Michael." And then of course he replied, "Who the heck is Michael?" To be honest, Robert has never claimed to be the brightest bulb on the planet, but instead, speaking for all of your non-physical counterparts, we heard all of you. Indeed, speaking for all of your non-physical counterparts, we heard all of you. We just don't exist above those mountain peaks. Oh, we get it. The climb itself was a little scary. Those angelic realms that enticed you to elevate your life, they actually exist inside of you. Always have, always will. So let's be clear about this invitation. You truly are inviting us to experience with you being human. And much to our surprise, you have answered with a resounding yes. And so we accepted your invitation. For the most part, in the form of your soul. And after all these lifetimes, all these years, what is the most pressing question from all of you in this now moment? When does the light of your soul start to change or impact this world in a tangible way? And that question kind of surprised us. Because you didn't ask, when is a new car going to appear in our driveway? Or a new house? Or a partner that will accept you just as you are? Or an abundance of resources that will pay for your credit debt? You wanted to believe with all your heart that your light in and of itself would and can help to change this world. And all this time spent, especially in the last few years, just radiating your light, some of you began to grow impatient. So you tried another approach. You tried the pedal to the metal approach. Well, all of you know how to do that. But who would be left standing from forcing your light into action? And how would that impact nature itself? So, of course, the question is, how does your light impact this human family? Is it helping to move energies that are stuck? Is it forcing the power players to stop playing these games? Is it feeding the hungry? Well, not in a way you would hope. Because the light of your soul doesn't force itself upon anything, ever. More powerful than that, at least from our perspective, it inspires any being to experience this very light inside of themselves. Inspiration represents a very powerful tool. Well, just look at your own life. How many of you gladly agreed to change your life, to awaken to who you really are, while somebody was twisting your arm? How many times have you felt inspired to reconsider the direction you were taking? That inspiration continues to live inside of you. So during this year, we can promise you a lot of energies will begin to surface in ways that might surprise you. Some will be very hard to own, and some will be very hard for you to witness. At times, leaving you scratching your head, wondering if humanity is insane. Is that the signal for you to get involved? Or is what you are offering so rare that you almost lost sight of it? So now, more than ever before, this is your time to do what? Well, you know the answer, at least from us. Just stop. Stop thinking so much. Stop doing life. If it just feels like you're running in circles, this is your time to spend a lot more time living inside that drama-free zone. We presented that over 15 years ago. But we notice that very few spend much time there. Robert even created a page on the Ancient Wings website just for this experience, inviting all of you to just hang out with your being part. Because it's not so easy to let go of what is known to you. Even if you don't like what is known, at least it exists in your mind. My friends, the fear of the unknown goes very deep, all the way back to the original self setting itself free from its original home, the kingdom, now existing as counterparts to itself, but now with your name on it. So yes, the light of your soul brings that feeling of home closer to you, but it also triggers memories from your distant past. In a way, Earth was created to reset that whole experience. And now with the wisdom so many of you have gained, to now embrace being an individuated, sovereign creator of your own experience, knowing that the very presence inside the kingdom also exists inside of you right now. So we can see your light growing, expanding each and every day. And your allegiance to it is now greater than your allegiance to whatever you inherited. That makes you what? Well, for one, it makes you ultra sensitive to a variety of different energies, both that leave you feeling blissed out and those that feel very toxic. The drama-free zone exists inside of you. You feel it every time you don't react to what appears to be outside of you. My friends, we heard your cry to join you. So allow us to reveal our light and to share the love that we feel for ourselves with you. It's time, is it not, for this divine reunion to become a part of your day-to-day reality. We could spend this session warning you of things to come. That would certainly attract a lot more viewers, some of which might truly frighten you. But what's the point of that? To traumatize your emotional body? You already feel the unexpressed anger inside the collective consciousness of this human family, the unexpressed anger. They've been following or playing follow the leader for so long, they have forgot how to trust themselves. And as they look at their current leaders, they feel so frustrated by the lack of action, frustrated by these ongoing conflicts between nations that impact so many lives, frustrated by a feeling that life is just happening to them without their permission. So existing inside of every human being is also a safe place. We call it a drama-free zone. It is from here that you attract to you all the support you need, whatever your soul desires. But you also don't get engaged with energies that would deny you your birthright by reacting to the choices other human beings are making. And that very birthright is your freedom to choose your own experience. Let's take another deep breath there. All of you know such a choice takes a tremendous amount of personal responsibility, does it not? It's not an easy thing to do, but it does represent your freedom. The family of humanity has entered their own awakening. Can we honor that? It's better than, let's blow this place up and start again, right? So we invite all of you to make peace with all the noise inside of you. We know you'd like it to just go away. In the same way, you wish humanity would just get their act together. Is it possible to live alongside the noise, whether that be inside of you or outside of you, but not to make it your problem? Many of you that are watching this session today, and those that will come later, you made the most unexpected choice. One that at times had you declaring, I think I might be losing my mind, which on our side of the veil, you might have also heard, if you're paying attention, a loud round of applause. So yes, we know it is incredible to realize you are here to witness and to contribute and to experience the rise of the human spirit. It needs your light to see where it's going. It needs your grace, your patience, and your understanding. We see those qualities inside of all of you. By allowing humanity to experience its own ascension in its own unique way. So yes, the presence of the Christ light is here, and it is indeed intense, which is now anchored on this planet and will continue to grow and expand. Even if there was nothing left on this planet, this Christ light remains, putting pressure on your own resistance to now allow this dramatic shift to unfold. But what do you know about this Christ light that feels a little different from your own light in relationship to your human identity? The Christ light has no agenda at all. Never has, never will. And we can see that this is a challenge for some of you to trust that the inspiration from your light is enough when it's clear that so much is needed on the planet. But that approach allows the very core of your soul's light to have the biggest impact. And at its core exists what? Indeed, your being part. Let's take a deep breath. Planet Earth represents the most challenging experience for any being anywhere. And that should tell you a lot about who you really are. Robert is asking, does that make us kind of stupid or really special? Let's stick with being really special. Because being human, even with your soul, removes you from your natural state, does it not? Because your natural state isn't physical. But it also offers the most tangible reflection of your own inner reality, which for a lot of beings is it's a little hard to own. Which brings us to what? If you came to this planet with the spirit of a warrior, carrying the sword of light, perhaps even following that part of me known as Archangel Michael, you might find the growing shift in consciousness on this planet to be a little hard to swallow, as it would appear here on Earth that the age of the warrior has actually ended. Of course, your current human battles might suggest otherwise, but the flow of your energy has greatly shifted during the last few decades in such a way that you can now clearly see how these battles represent a long-standing history between cosmic family members who have been intent on making life miserable for themselves and those around them from a place of guilt, from a place of shame. But that too is changing. Your intolerance for getting pulled into those battles is at an all-time high, as more human beings than ever before have now taken that inner journey into themselves and discovered the source of the battle itself. It has changed their outlook on life. It has changed how they value themselves, changed how they are now willing to coexist with both the light and its shadow inside of themselves. They're now willing to extend their hand in friendship before they reach for the sword. It's a really bold choice. You, my friends, whether your human self likes it or not, are the new living masters on this planet. You are the ones who had the courage to expose the state of your own inner reality. You are the ones who had the courage to stop playing games. You can see them for what they are. They represent a need to feed on energies outside of your own. They represent the original Hunger Games. You can see this very game being played out in a variety of institutions on this planet. Whether they call themselves spiritual, religious, or any other name. You can see it between genders, family and race, countries, nations. But as your history has clearly shown to all of you, the victor is very short-term. It doesn't matter to the game itself who wins or who loses, as long as the games continue. And because so many of you have said quite clearly, no thank you, because those very games interfere with what you invited to join you. So you have withdrawn your energy from the conflict itself. But it's also very easy to get pulled back into all the drama. It would appear that if you don't pick a side, you might not like who wins. So let's take a deep breath as together we enter the year 2024, not as warriors, not as warriors. We heard your invitation, and we are here too. We're not here to save you or this planet. We're here just to be the light that we are. Is that enough, my friends? We're not superheroes. Is that enough? All of you are in the process of creating a new way of being human, allowing that part that incarnated to now sit in its rightful place in the driver's seat of your life. We know you've been presented with a variety of very interesting, different stories as that relates to the non-physical realms. And instead of making one of them right while making all the others wrong, let's just say that all of them are valid as they serve whatever state supports them, whatever state of mind, whatever state of consciousness. But to those of you that are at the forefront of this change, if indeed you feel the need to belittle another group, spiritual group, or its teacher, you miss out on the opportunity to act now as supports to each other, now as sovereign beings. All spiritual groups on this planet are contributing in their own unique way, as there is no being or any group that is greater than any other. As we speak, the vast majority of awakened human beings are actively involved with helping to create a more sustainable world. Your light supports them. Your light is vital to help support them. And then there are those who are following the approach we are sharing. Both serve the light of consciousness in their own unique way. All of you have far more in common as awakened human beings than what appears to separate you. So you have embraced a new way of being human. Your new strength lies in your willingness to acknowledge, not deny, but acknowledge what is inside of you, and then to accept it with all your heart. So it's actually very easy for me, as we come to the end of this session, to predict potential outcomes during this year. For those of you that are more committed to keeping your being part at the front of your life, what you will receive will enhance your life beyond your wildest dreams. What you have been waiting for all these lifetimes will finally reveal itself inside this physical reality. But of course, for most of humanity, what we are sharing with all of you is new to them. It might take several more lifetimes, or as long as it takes to realize they too are the original self, having a human experience, but with their name on it. So no matter where you are at with your own self, we promise you that you can expect non-stop changes in every area of life on this planet. And our suggestion, our plea to all of you, Celebrate this, my friends. Celebrate the change. And through it all, I, Michael, will be right next to you, ensuring you that all is indeed well. We are looking forward to spending 3 days with some of you in our upcoming I Mystic workshop. Those of you that signed up early, you're already beginning to feel the shift in the energy. It represents yet another opportunity to experience your own magnificence. It's time to stop being small and to finally let go of what troubles your heart and to openly share such a presence with your human self and this human family. Until then, let your own light take care of you. Take care, my friends.